Oh no.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Interjections podcast. We take a look back 30 years on this and talk about some hidden gems from cinemas as their anniversary rolls around. So we call ourselves the Undiscovered Decade for that reason. We are in July 1995.
Let's see who the victim is tonight.
So we have this picker wheel that we always integrate into the episode so that we are forced to talk about the synopsis of the film. We're halfway through the year, so some people have been chosen twice, some people have been chosen once, but everyone still has a chance.
This is Russian roulette,
Yeah.
basically.
Like who's going to shoot themselves in the foot describing the film?
Who's gonna get caught for not having watched the movie?
Uh-huh.
Let's
Oh,
see.
there you go, Corey.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
You got it.
Thank God I got this one because
I
this
feel
is,
like Cory picked this one, so I think he's good.
I did pick this one actually.
I nailed it.
I hadn't seen the movie, so
Yeah, none of us had.
Okay,
It was an excuse to watch this.
that's fair.
yeah, I had always wanted to see it based on the controversy. So,
Right.
but basically the plot is, and it's very
What film were we watching again? We
it's
never actually
kids.
said.
Sorry,
Kids. Yeah,
kids.
I never said.
What the hell is wrong with
Um,
these kids today?
it's a slice of life in some part of New York. It might be Hell's Kitchen. I'm not sure. It might be the Bronx.
It's up and down New York. I know those areas from the shots. They're pretty much Upper East Side or down in the area of Washington Square Park, because that's where they discovered a lot of these actors, which we'll talk about.
And it follows the main character's Tully, played by Leo Fitzgerald, who was he was a pro skater at the time. It follows him and his delinquent friends as they go about causing mischief and having promiscuous sex and doing inhalants. And it shows him and this girl Jennie that he had a fling with, who this isn't a spoiler. This happens halfway through. Find out she contracted AIDS, and she goes to inform him about it. And it's just basically a collision course until they meet again.
Yeah.
It doesn't have much of a plot so much as it's a experiential movie, like a fly on the wall kind of thing.
It was basically like the Odyssey. This was Ulysses for the youth Ulysses,
Yeah.
but it was slice of life. I'm trying to think if there was anything else we didn't really touch on in the synopsis. It was just a fucked up movie, honestly.
Yeah.
A bunch of kids doing the type of things that would earn this an NC-17 rating that lost its appeal for
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around this film because there's a little bit of background that I looked into. I put in the guide for us, but I read some interviews about Larry Clark, the director, who grew up in Omaha. Have you heard of Larry Clark? Do you know Larry Clark? You're giving a face like you
No, I
are
hadn't heard
shocked
of
about
Larry
him.
Clark, but I was just looking at something else.
Oh, okay. So Larry Clark was the director of this film, and he grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he tried to get into photography like by going to New York and ended up being in Vietnam. And he and his buddies started doing drugs all the time. So he started to photograph that, like document it. And he became famous for having this book about drugs in the Midwest, in the suburbs, like the place that it's the underbelly of society. You think everything's safe, but it's these kids get their hands on drugs. And so he made a name for himself that way. He had another book about like teenage sex that was about like the scene that this film sort of depicts that he grew up in the 70s. And then as he continued on, he started getting an interest in filmmaking. And when he came to New York, he kept getting fascinated by the skate parks. Like I mentioned, Washington Square Park. That's the one with the big arch that you see in When Harry Met Sally, for people that don't know, that haven't been in New York. But back in the 90s, that was like the hub where you went. There were mobs of kids always skating. So pretty much everyone you see in this film are skaters or friends of skaters that just met Larry or Harmony Korine, the writer, who was one of the skaters and had always wanted to be a filmmaker. So Larry and Harmony met and they sort of gestated this idea of taking on Harmony's crew and showcasing them. And so it's really just a slice of life, but it's kind of controversial because everyone's actually the age they're portraying. Typically, there's stuff like I'm watching this movie with Will Smith, Where the Day Takes You. We mentioned it a couple of years ago, and it's about like homeless people on the streets of LA, but they're all like 30 playing 20. And so you never had this sort of genuine article. All these people were non-actors, even Chloe Sevigny, who became a star later with stuff like Boys Don't Cry, or Rosario Dawson, who was plucked off the stoop of her 14th Street home. She was pretty much, according to Wikipedia and other stuff I've read, she was squatting across the street from Harold Hunter, who's the black kid who seemed to be like the leader of the skaters when they all meet up. So they're just all friends, and they just wanted to make a movie. But because they're kids, people didn't like the reality of this.
Well, and the fact that like allegedly all the party scenes were just not scripted, and they were just like, here, kids, just get drunk and high and just fucking be in character
Yeah,
and talk about shit.
yeah. What I've read is a lot of the weed was real, especially when they're actually rolling it in Washington Square.
Yeah.
They show a lot of
A lot of the
explicit-
drinking wasn't necessarily stuff. A lot of the 40s that Casper's drinking apparently were apple juice from all the interviews I've read.
But that's, the whole thing was this was supposed to be avant-garde, and it was just like it was very uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, which is the point. But as it goes on, it's just like the more I think about it, it sticks out because of just how brutally honest it is. Like, it doesn't censor anything other than the fact that like it feels at times that I'm like, should we legally be able to watch this?
Yeah.
It feels like something like, judging by the fact that, it was so controversial to the point where this gem was so hidden, it's not on anything, and we had to find it on, like, there was one link that
Yeah, I found it through archive.org, which
Yeah.
is available. I'm not promoting it or anything to go find kids, but that was the easiest way to get access it is on Amazon.com for purchase, but like for $40 on a single DVD, so it's pretty much bootleg at this point,
Yeah,
at
it's
least in
not-
my consideration.
It hasn't been upgraded to Blu-ray.
Yeah,
This movie walked so Euphoria could run.
it
You're
could.
right.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
Also, another weird comparison. I felt like Jonah Hill was kind of recreating this with mid-90s.
Which Harmony Korine is in as well.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah, he definitely must have liked kids and was trying to do it with more money.
Because it's definitely like as raw as you can get. Like, it's all handheld, probably 16 millimeter, I imagine. Like, it was just like, I don't know. It was a day in the life, and it's also just a fascinating time capsule because like this movie would not work today anyway, just because, this was kids before smartphones, and
Yeah.
obviously like they would all be, and I guess that's what Euphoria is now. It's like
It's the kids, but
this,
today,
kids
yeah.
with smartphones. It's
Yeah,
a lot
like
easier to say, "Hey, you gave me AIDS."
right. Yeah. Like the odyssey of her chasing him all over Manhattan, just like, hey, has Telly been here? Is wild to think about today. We lived that a little bit towards the end of our non-smartphone age. That was fun. I liked just like showing up at a buddy's house. Like you and I used to go to each other's houses, just knock.
I mean, yeah, we did slightly different things than what these kids did, but
Sure, but I knew these kids.
There was not as much illicit activity.
We were friends with the skating crew, so even though it's like the middle of New Jersey, some of these kids were a little bit like that.
We definitely knew these kids.
Yeah, I was Harmony Korine who wishes I could skate and fucked up all the time and wanted to write movies. So that's who I was. But I liked all the skater kids. So
And then you cast your non-actor friends in a film
exactly.
that was very avant-garde that we'll talk about some other time.
Yep.
The other thing about this movie was like Leo Fitzpatrick, which, quick side note, the face I was making before was because I accidentally looked up Leo Fitzgerald. The kid from Baby Geniuses was like, this guy was in Baby Geniuses too?
No. Yeah, Cory misspoke before.
I said the wrong
said,
name.
You said Leo Fitzgerald, but I didn't want to correct you.
But
In the middle of your synopsis, I would have thrown you off.
He basically like decided that he hated acting after doing this and quit for 3 years before they made him come back to do something else. But the fascinating thing about that is if this is your first acting gig, traditional, like, you're not acting. Like, this is just, for someone who's trying to be an actor, this is not a great first experience, but for someone who's trying to like really make something that's controversial to the point where people are still arguing about it 30 years later. But they don't know that because
Yeah,
they're 17.
right. Or less.
Yeah,
Rosario
that's
Dawson
why-
was supposedly 14 when she filmed this.
Yeah, there
You know
was
what's so remarkable about the dialogue is it's not improvised.
Yeah, I just read there's only one scene that's actually improvised. Everything's down to the T for Harmony script.
But it's so naturalistic that it sounds improvised, like it's like you caught it in the moment right off the cuff. Shows that these people have acting chops. He curated those people perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. I was reading an interview with a couple of the people that were in it, and they kept talking about how much of a genius Harmony seemed to be. They didn't expect him to actually make a movie, but they kept hearing that it was happening, and they're like, "Oh, I guess we're going to be in a film." So they just kind of were swept up in the thing. But they always cite that Harmony got their voices right, but a lot of the time there were Harmony lines, like it's him in every character a little bit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but he knew their voices so well that it often sounded like Leo himself, or Justin, who plays Casper, or Chloe, who he was dating at the time. So they tried to plunk in an actress that was sort of broke out eventually in the L Word and a couple other things. I knew her from 24, but she ended up being replaced by Chloe Sevigny 2 days before they opened, started shooting. They plunked in Mia Kirshner. She's Canadian, so
Oh,
they're like, yeah, she had her Canadian accent. We all knew she was a punk. She couldn't ride with us, and they just kept messing with her, and she kept breaking into tears. So they're like, this isn't working. We're gonna have to use one of the girls we know. So that's how Chloe Sevigny is a star. Because last minute she just already kind of knew the lines. She was gonna be one of the girls in the pool, and apparently just got upgraded last second. So the other thing I want to talk about with these kids is that maybe one of the controversies around it is that there's a bit of a tragedy with this inherent to every single actor. This is their first film. So the thrust into stardom might have taken too much of a toll on some of them. And the guy who played Casper, Justin Pierce, ended up committing suicide at age 25. So
After winning an Independent Spirit Award for this movie,
for
though.
this. Yeah,
But
he's fantastic. He showed up in a couple other films. He's in next Friday, so he was just starting to take off like even further. Even if that film didn't do well.
he was in a couple episodes of Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. So he probably would have been as big a star as Rosario and Chloe, but he didn't seem to know it. So and it,
Also,
it can
like
get to you. I don't know. I don't want to speak to what he's thinking, you know?
the other thing
Harold
is,
Hamilton passed away as well.
Yeah.
the other thing is, a lot of these
Of a heart
people
attack.
Yeah.
did
Not yeah,
all of
nothing.
this, like they were doing all of this stuff before the movie.
Right.
Anyway, these kids were skater punks who just, fucked around and drank and did drugs, and that was part of why they were cast, was because they lived that lifestyle and didn't really have to understand, do too much acting.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I mean, that contributes to stuff too. But
Yeah. A couple of the kids in the article I read said they just like bounced right back to skating like it was nothing. They
as
just knew that life best. So,
I want to talk about the script for a second though, because what we were talking about with it is very naturalistic in the fact that they were like pretty much on point with the conversations. The circular narrative of this, like it opens with Leo Fitzpatrick's
Telly.
character trying to seduce another girl into letting him take her virginity, and that's how it like gets toward the end of the movie too, with another girl. And it's
Hmm.
like it's a whole circular thing, and he's just an asshole, and he's an
He's
irredeemable
immoral,
he's an
delinquent.
irredeemable twat.
Yeah, he
And
doesn't learn anything. Chloe, whatever Chloe's character's name never gets to him.
no, she gets to him while
Too late.
he's,
Deflowering
right,
or
right.
Darcy.
Yeah, Jennie gets to him too late, and then like the end of the movie,
Yeah, the really rough end of the movie. I mean,
it's
I want to find a silver lining in that this showcases what this situation is like, that
yeah,
you think you can have the right to assault someone when you're a 13-year-old boy because of the society you're in. But
it's
I'm not an expert enough to speak to what this could
the
make better. Like it's a warning against like saying this is okay.
the
It's a cautionary
the
tale.
more the
Cautionary
more
tale, yeah.
yeah, it's a cautionary tale, but the more I think about it, well, I mean, all of the things on the posters are just like a wake up call for the nation and something, this is our youth. But the ending was specifically jarring because for the entire movie, Casper is more or less the good guy. Like he's a harmless sidekick, and then at the end he finds Jennie passed out and sexually assaults her, and with like a fucking 8-year-old sitting on the couch a
Hmm.
couple feet over, and it's like, oh no, they're all just awful. And at the same time, she goes to when she goes to the clinic just to keep Rosario
Ruby.
Dawson's character company and gets the news and insists that she was only with Telly, then this happens and you're like, oh, well, how much has this also been a factor too? And it's like it unfortunately raises way more questions and sticks the landing in a way that I was not expecting.
Did you not think it was going to close the circle well enough, like
I
his
figured it
script?
would close the circle, but it almost felt like that scene, it was tacked on.
The rape.
Yeah, but it was just because like that's why it was so jarring, but it's like, oh no, it's just they're all terrible.
Yeah.
Which was the intent. The last line is like Casper waking up and saying, what the fuck just happened?
Well,
So
the ending isn't necessarily subtle. I mean, after that happens, it cuts to all the crazy and alcoholic people wandering the streets of New York, where
what
you're
they're
like,
gonna end
oh,
up being.
this is what this will lead to, and then, oh, Jesus, just what just happened?
Yeah.
So straight to the camera. It's, I think, a fantastic ending. But
Yeah, no, I
No, I agree.
I don't when I say tacked on, I didn't mean like it was an afterthought. It was just one of those things like you think it's gonna close and then
here's one more gut punch.
here's one right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You think any of them are redeemable? Well,
But you've got like footage of 6 and 7 year olds smoking cigarettes,
mm-hmm.
hanging out and partying with these kids.
Yeah.
It's
That's the scene that apparently is the only improvised scene. Apparently they would just always hang out at these parties because they were like, apparently they were like 12, 13. I'm not condoning it, but they weren't part of the scene, or they were in the scene, so they would just come watch filming and Larry Clark would just start filming it. And apparently they had a longer cut of this film where that there was a 30-minute scene of them waxing poetic, those three or four kids on the couch. And he showed it to all the actors like Leo and Justin and Chloe and was like, here, let's watch the film for a rough cut. And they're all like, dude, what was that 30-minute scene? That's not necessary. So he actually knew how to make sure it had an impact, but he kept the best stuff from that scene because that's the real stuff. Those kids start that young and become Telly and Casper.
yeah.
It's a rough film.
Boy howdy.
It's a rough film, but at the same time, as unflinching and uncompromising as it is, it's not inherently difficult to watch. Like I didn't feel like it was so bleak that I had to avert my eyes.
In the beginning felt that way. But then as it went on. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, you're good. It just felt like they weren't trying to moralize anything. So I was like, okay, this is just going to be in a completely unflinching portrait of not only like the fact that Telly is kind of just this toxic center of everything, but through osmosis and peer pressure, he contaminates everyone around him, and it's a learned behavior. And then when you see his mother at a certain point being very neglectful and just being like, "Where? Just make sure you're back in time." She's breastfeeding while smoking a cigarette.
In front of his friend.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, this is how derelict these people are.
Yeah. And so many people are like that, even
Right.
today. So,
Right. This film is unfortunately timeless.
Right.
yeah. It also was a time capsule for specifically the fear of AIDS, because there's the kid who's like, oh, that's just a myth. And obviously that's going to play into Jennie discovering she's HIV positive. But these kids grow up on the tail end of the really big wave of fear in the early 90s. So it's becoming such a hot button issue in 95 because they are kind of giving up on all the people that are HIV positive. And so there's a fear to the people that are discovering sex at this age. Like, are we just going to have to live with the rolling the dice to see if we're going to get AIDS or not? Like, we grew up in a time where everyone was very sex positive about protection, and HIV, they were starting to find cures when we got to college. Not cures per se, but like medicine for it that actually really helps. And yeah, treatability is the right word. So it didn't feel as much of a fear to me, even though it is still prevalent with anything else that you might get, including just getting pregnant. Like, it's all in your head as a 13-year-old.
It touched on a lot, and I can see why he was trying to appeal the NC-17 rating so that more people could see it. But because of the content, like it's just there's no way this is ever going to get some sort of major release. Like this is not a movie night film. Like this is not like, hey, let's just go hang out and watch kids.
Hey, you want to come over? That's why you and I never even talked about watching it together.
Right. But it's the second part of that MPAA thing was they also didn't want him to cut anything to like try to get a different rating because it would have lost its impact. It's already an hour and a half just chock full of nonsense. And I'm like, while I'm watching this, I'm like, I don't even know if they could structurally cut anything.
Right. I'm trying to think of shots that you could take out, like,
Yeah, well, they had to do when it was released in the UK, they had to cut 40 seconds off like where the kid is sitting there.
oh yeah, I
Knocks
read
off
about that.
one more gut punch, but that was like, their own censorship thing.
But there are kids all, he's just stepped over them all, so they're there. Unless they cut
Yeah,
that too.
well, no, the whole thing apparently they had a part of their standards code is that you can't have a minor in the same shot as simulated sex.
Yeah.
So that was why. But
Right.
even so, they made it through the rest of the movie and then cut the last 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was a rough watch, but the more I think about it, it's just been churning.
Yeah.
So
It actually did well at the box office,
yeah.
considering it only made like 83,000 its first weekend, but it was probably only in New York or whatnot. And it lasted like 35 weeks. It lingered around the 20s because it became a word of mouth hit in that it was an indie darling. It was something controversial to talk about, so people would go to see it. It made 7 million for what it was made for about a million, so it still made money. And worldwide it had $20 million. So it was obviously something to see anywhere if you could get your hands on it, or at least get in a seat to see it. But that's why I think this is indicative of what we want to talk about with this podcast. Like, this is emblematic of the 90s for sure. Like, this type of filmmaking, this subject matter, this everything about it is like 95 to a T for me. I remember going to college and hearing about, like, oh, we got to see kids. It's so rough to see and hard to get and stuff. So it's kind of cool to finally get it, but
I was very surprised. Apparently Siskel and Ebert loved it. I was like, oh,
it says a lot,
it does.
you know?
Going back to the dialogue, yeah, it's naturalistic, but like you listen to it at first and you're like, this dialogue is absolute garbage until you realize, oh, that's actually
How
how
people talk.
teenagers talk.
Yeah.
And repulsive terms like that about sex and women and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah, I knew these people.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, you did. I met some of your
Yeah.
Caspers.
Yeah, right.
We had a Casper.
Yeah. Well,
So
this movie spoke to a lot of people, is what we're saying.
you want to give ratings?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's A plus, but that's because I think it's so well done and it's a fascinating film. I
Sure.
will never see this again.
But it's gonna be indelible in your mind, though.
Right.
I think I'm gonna go B plus. I agree with you. It's unsparing portrait of what it was like growing up in the 90s. I saw a lot of these kids were burnouts before they were even teenagers, unfortunately. And it portrays that perfectly. It might not be a glamorous look, but unfortunately that's as unvarnished a look as you're gonna get. And also I didn't feel like it was exploitative or created for shock value like it could have been. I think without that Harmony Korine script, and it was Larry Clark trying to write this by himself, it may have come off a little tin-eared.
They had a lot of stories about seeing him in the park, and he's this 50-year-old guy trying to skate with like a gray beard. And like,
Right.
hey, hello, fellow kids, would you like to make a movie? And they're like, pedophile. No, no. And then Harmony befriends him, and they're like, oh, maybe he's cool.
Right.
They very could have easily gone like Reefer Madness with it, like absolutely off the wall bonkers.
Mhm.
But it was that way in its own. And in the style of the film, I'm not going to give it a rating because it was so right in the middle of everything. It was absolutely unappealing, but it was absolutely brilliant. And I'm like, I will never voluntarily watch this movie again, but it will live with me forever.
So you're
Would
saying it's
you
kind of
recommend it, though?
it's kind of simultaneously an A and an F, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a C, if anything,
Yeah.
but it's not. It splits the difference because
Is this a Schrodinger's cat kind of thing?
this movie is both amazing and god awful, but not in like the good way, not like The Room. Like this is
Right.
the one that makes you think. This is, I'm glad we watched it. I never want to see this shit again.
Yeah, I'm not going to rate it in our top 5 for the end of the year, even if I
Yeah,
gave it an A plus.
This is not making it to my
Not my favorite movie. I was thinking about because Jimmy sent me a little paper airplane from the orphanage that he's running in Malaysia,
Yeah.
and he said that if he were to watch kids, he would implode. So he probably would give it a D for just the exploitative nature that it impresses upon you. But that's just from the letter I got that I left over on the couch.
I
So,
thought I saw Jimmy in the background of one of those shots.
oh my God,
Subliminal Jimmy.
yeah, seen him walking around. He
mean,
time traveled
there.
to be inside this movie.
Theoretically, some of those kids could be around our age.
They are all around like 50.
Yeah. Within.
Rosario's 45.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the kids, like the youngins.
Oh, the youngest? They're no, like what I was reading, they said they're only a couple years younger.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like they're around our age or a little bit older.
yeah, they could be like 40 now. Because one of those kids on the couch did a documentary about this. It was called We Were Kids. Came out in 2021 at Tribeca, just to see where everyone is 25 years later. And he's like our age, so now he's trying to like cope with the reality of being like a 8, 9 year old on set.
Oh, good.
I was happy you suggested it because I don't know that I would have ever gotten myself to actually watch this.
It's been on my watch list for a while, but it was something I couldn't like voluntarily make myself watch because you
Yeah.
definitely have to be in a mood. So the fact that we had to make this kind of a prerequisite for the podcast was a good thing.
Yeah, I kept having to pause it and go do other things. I was doing laundry, so it gave me a rest. Even though it's only an hour and a half, it felt like it was interminable because of how intense it is.
Fair. But don't worry,
Yeah.
there were other movies that came out this month.
Yeah, like what?
Built to Spare entirely.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about five. The first one I'm going to talk about, low end of the totem pole. And it's not necessarily a bad movie, it's just very archaic by today's standards with what we know about the internet. It's called The Net with Sandra.
Ah.
Even back then, I'm pretty sure they didn't know the capabilities of what the internet could do.
We were sending gerbil pages dancing.
Yeah, it's a little ludicrous. She's like a wonderkin in the movie. She figures out how to instill viruses and clean them up within seconds. Nowadays, it takes like whole banks of people to figure out how to clear up security breaches like that. It's Sandra Bullock's world. We're all living in it. She's the best part of the movie, but that goes without saying. She's charming and lighthearted and everything. The movie itself, not very thrilling. Matter of fact, weirdly enough, in the movie, it starts off with a politician finding out he has a sexually transmitted disease, might be AIDS. So weirdly, it kind of ties into kids in them.
I'm telling you, this is the time that's coming up in the news.
Right. So again, it's prevalent in this movie. The movie itself, not great. Have you seen it?
No.
Another thing that could have been brought up in kids is 9 Months, which is a rom-com about Hugh Grant finding out that his girlfriend, Julianne Moore, is pregnant and him coping with that. This is around the time that Tom Arnold was becoming a steadfast supporting character, comic relief in most things. He's good in the movie.
Okay.
Not so good in the movie is Robin Williams. There's too many scenes of him doing shtick, digress. Yeah, and he plays a Russian gynecologist. It's best left unsaid. And even Hugh Grant's gone on record saying he doesn't like his performance in this, and I'd have to agree, but he's a little too overamped. Honestly, the person who should have been the lead is his best friend in the movie, which is Jeff Goldblum.
Ooh.
He's fantastic in the movie.
Jeff Goldblum, Hugh Grant, and Robin Williams in one film.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah. The personalities at that lunch table.
I know. Oh, I love to see it behind the scenes of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's too many sitcom moments throughout the movie.
Ah, well.
It's a shame too, because Chris Columbus is usually a pretty good director and writer. Speaking of adolescent boys, as a kid, I loved Species.
Okay. I was worried you were going to say I loved adolescent boys.
No. You can imagine why. It's basically about Natasha Henstridge plays this genetically engineered alien who has to copulate with a human male in order to become impregnated. I see Jeff's.
My 1995 was just a very horny month in cinema.
It was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Honestly, the scenes are with her. Disrobing her, somewhat erotic. It's almost like it's a weird hybrid of.
No pun intended.
Like H.R. Giger came up with the design for Syl, the alien. It's like Red Shoe Diaries mixed with Alien, if you can imagine putting those two together.
And R.I.P. Michael Madsen.
Yes, exactly. We killed him.
He's one of the guys that it tries to copulate with.
Right. But he ends up having a sex scene with Mark Helgenberger. So
He does, yeah.
so on that same sci-fi angle, something much less softcore and erotic. Waterworld came out. Unless you find Kevin Costner with gills erotic.
Well, he's getting wet in it.
I know. Hello. Hello.
The
Anyway,
cops.
I think for me, the concept and Kevin Costner's performance and the set pieces put it over the top in the guilty pleasure category for me.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that it's a lot of the other characters are kind of underdeveloped. The world itself is a little malnourished, but the set design is so beautiful in this. They even I think they coined this as fish tar, playing off of Ishtar because it went
Yeah.
over.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's the story around it that bombed it.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is one of those things where the production went amok. So that became the main story instead of the quality of the film. The film itself is a rollicking good action adventure.
It reminds me of No Escape.
Yeah, it's fun. And that's
Yeah.
all it
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I think I'd be fine with it. It's just that the production got too much in the way of it.
I even like the fact that Kevin Costner's character is kind of curmudgeonly. He doesn't really want to be around these people.
That's funny.
It makes sense for his character. So when he does become heroic at a certain point, it's more worthy at that point.
Sure. Is it one of the things I've heard about it is it's too slow?
It depends on the cut because there's two cuts. You got the theatrical cut and then you got a longer extended TV cut.
Oh boy.
So if you really like the world building that's being set up in the movie, I would recommend the TV cut. But I would, again, it played on TV, so it was broken up into maybe either a 3-hour chunk or it was in 2 nights. Maybe that's the way to watch it.
Yeah.
I've only seen the theatrical cut.
Okay.
But it's breezy. It doesn't seem too long to me.
Okay.
Like I said, if you want to see Mad Max on the high seas, watch this.
Sounds fine.
Yeah. But a movie also about kids came out this month, a little more upbeat and utopian.
Less AIDS.
Less AIDS. Clueless came out this month.
Fantastic film.
Yes, I rewatched it and I thought it would be dated. It's not.
No.
It's still as fresh as it was when it first came out. Fresh and wiseacre and witty. And honestly,
Star making turns.
Isn't that what
yes,
also
for Alicia Silverstone, for Stacey Dash, for Brittany Murphy, who sadly passed.
Jeremy Sisto pops up in this. Paul Rudd, it really puts him on the level. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Jeff?
wasn't that also based on Shakespeare?
Yes,
it
is.
was.
Which one is it? I forget.
I think it's Taming of the Shrew.
Or is it Jane?
No, that's 10 Things I Hate About You.
Was
Oh,
it,
yes.
no, wasn't it like Jane Eyre or something?
It might be not Shakespeare, but British literature.
It was
Charlotte Bronte.
oh my God, what was her name? It was like
I'm
more
looking
of a
it up.
Jane Austen thing.
Bronte?
It could be Jane Austen, actually.
It's based on Emma, Jane Austen's Emma.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a really good movie. It holds up today.
Yeah.
Some of the slang is still prevalent, weirdly enough.
Even more so than stuff like Mean Girls was pushing.
Yeah, the fetch.
Yeah.
That's
Real-
its thing. Lived on for a while.
It really did. I love the driving on the highway scene. I think of that a lot now that I've seen it. Really funny stuff.
They could have easily made her character, Alicia Silverstone's character, a buxom bubblehead, but she actually is in it when she's having conversations with Paul Rudd. Their barbs back and forth are very Hepburn Tracy-esque.
Realistic too.
Yeah.
For like a brother sister.
So yeah,
Nice.
even if you're not a teenage girl, I think you should watch Clueless.
No, this is Universal.
It's universal.
I've never seen it, so
You should watch it. We should watch it.
it's
Yeah.
on the list.
No, this is the real list. I'm getting it out. I'm gonna write it on the back of Jimmy's
He
letter.
says he's gonna put
You-
something on his list, and that list remains blank.
This is Rebecca's favorite film. So if I mention that to her, she will make it her mission for you to see it. So I'm writing it on the list on the back of Jimmy's letter.
That's an invite everybody over and make popcorn movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And it flies
Like-
by comedies,
Right.
So really good.
Maybe Heckerling defined a generation with Fast Times and with this.
Yeah. It's a shame she
again with Loser in the 2000 didn't work.
Yeah, not as well. I've seen it and I forget what happens already.
I like the movie, but it's not Clueless.
Yeah. It's a shame she's kind of gotten blacklisted in a way.
Right.
Yeah. She did Vamps. That's her last movie, and it came out in like 2012, 2014.
That was
Yeah.
a rough.
Yeah.
She's so-
Not her fault per se, but she's apparently been trying to make a movie for the last decade. C'est la vie.
That brings us to Jeff's time to shine, Poster Boy.
Poster boy.
Poster boy. That's me. All right.
Get theme song on this.
So what we're looking at, yeah, I need a jingle.
What?
Anyway, so this is a white poster with the backside of an elephant painted camouflage, and I think I know exactly what this is.
Damn it. If it was a different
Because
color,
it's
would you know what it
well,
was?
if you didn't have the Walt Disney Pictures Presents,
Yeah, I should have gotten rid of that.
actually, I think this is we're getting to the point where things are very
Starting to
recognizable,
recognize them.
and I think I've actually seen this one when I was
Oh,
a wee lad.
I've never seen this.
I've seen it.
So is this Operation Dumbo Drop?
Yes, it is. Jimmy wrote in his letter that he wanted to point out that this is one of his favorites from the 90s, and he's sad that he didn't get to discuss the hilarity that ensues with Ray Liotta and Danny Glover.
It is kind of
Very.
a perfect poster. Oh, I forgot to read off the names. It's Danny Glover, Ray Liotta, Dennis Leary, Dougie Doug, and Corin Nemec.
Nemec.
Nemec. Which think of this. This is a fucking rogues gallery for a Disney film.
Yeah.
Right.
These guys would murder you in your sleep.
You've got Goodfellas, you've got
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon, you've got just
Demolition
Dennis Leary
Man.
and whatever he's doing.
Yeah, Rescue Me.
You got the guy who literally wrote a song called Asshole.
Yeah.
Yep. So I took away two catchphrases. What would you, having been presented with the synopsis of Operation Dumbo Drop, I assume you know what happened based on having seen it, but based on the synopsis of it, what would you give it as a catchphrase? This is how you can get some points, extra points.
I was gonna say he got points. But no.
Yeah.
You'll believe an elephant can fly.
It's better than what they have.
And just to play on Superman. So trunks away. Or pack your trunks this summer.
Were you in the marketing department?
Not yet. This might be, hey Disney, call me. I
That's
can
not
remarket
moving.
your movies from 30 years ago.
God, they start doing movies like this again.
A
There you
story
go.
about big dreams and small miracles. Oh my God, that's lame.
Yeah, so that's the basic one. There is a better one up top, but it's not better than what you said. Do you want to give it a try, Cory? See if you can come up with a better catchphrase.
Better catchphrase.
Yeah, slogan, whatever.
This is one movie you'll never forget.
That's not bad. I was going to say he's joining the troop. Get ready or something like that.
Crossing the DMZ is an adventure you'll never forget.
Okay.
No.
Bombs away. When you weigh 4 tons, it's hard to be a secret weapon. Actually, that's pretty good.
Okay.
You like that?
You're nicer than I am.
Well, because I also forgot the actual
You're marketing this towards kids.
Operation Dumbo Drop. Also, okay, so it's a military thing where they're moving an elephant. I forget why they're moving the elephant.
I know why.
Cory, please regale us with the tale of Operation Dumbo Drop.
So he wants Ray Liotta's character, I think is a colonel. He has to earn the trust of the villagers, and the enemy comes and kills their elephant. So he has to retrieve a new elephant, bring him back.
Okay.
So there's an ecological message as well.
Sure.
Stop killing elephants. Yeah.
And they're not just using the elephant as a weapon.
No, yeah, that I don't know why that even says that.
Yeah, that's misleading then.
This also looks like it could be another poster for an Ace Ventura movie.
Because this is butt.
Because of the rhino incident.
They could have done a lot better with this poster.
Stuff.
I gotta say, like just painting him army fatigues, real lazy.
Like I would have had
You don't like that?
a big
It's
old,
kinda boring.
big old crate with holes in it, of course, with just the trunk sneaking out.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Anyway, the movie tanked, as far as I know.
Yeah.
The movie dropped like an elephant out of a plane.
Onto a tank.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Here's another one.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, do you know this automatically?
I think I know this one too.
Yeah, I mean, if I fuzzed out his face, you'd still even be able to
You
tell.
did a good job editing this.
So yeah, no, that's
Thank you.
good. Okay, so there's New York silhouette skyline in the background of there's a young kid who's backlit with he's holding out his hands.
Yeah, what's he
almost in a
holding?
prayer. He's holding something in his hands that he's just staring at in amazement that perhaps could be an
You what? You
I
do
thought it
that.
was going to be the cat face again, honestly.
Oh man.
Well, he was gonna have the cat face, but then I'm like, oh, this is too perfect because we're doing it in this
edited
order.
in a tiny Dumbo.
Tiny Dumbo drop.
That's the sequel. It's like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids crossover.
Do you know what this is? Because when I go past the
Yeah, well, no,
elephant,
what I
it
was
will.
going to say was the tiny thing he's holding could be some sort of Native American that lives in a cabinet
Yes,
because this is Indian in the cupboard.
that's right.
Yeah.
I do the same thing I did for Operation Dumbo Drop. You're obviously old enough to go see movies now. So this is going to start becoming a common thing, especially in the summer when these are kid movies, or if we use a kid movie for a poster, you're probably going to know it.
Well, I also got excited about this one because when they released it on VHS, the box came with a little figurine
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Indian,
It
and
did.
there's a little keyhole in the side of the VHS box you could use to.
Yeah, I loved that.
Oh, that's cool. Really good
Yeah, I
movie.
always wanted it. This is what I wanted to do for this, but Kids ended up being a very poignant film to cover, to talk about for hidden gems, you know. It was a hidden gem to me because I just never got around to seeing it this film. It would have been fun to catch these two, but I think we ended up with the right film.
Yeah.
Well, much like I did with Operation Dumbo Drop, I took the tagline out. I believe it's above his head. I forget what it is, but if you want to come up with something for the Indian in the cupboard,
A big adventure begins with a small visitor.
Are we gonna do the big and small thing with all these?
That's
well, it's kind of what happened with these two.
We think something really bad that would never actually happen. But
I'll cut it out.
I'm just trying to think. So it's because I forget like why he's there, why he's in the cupboard.
Yeah, why don't you tell us the synopsis? That'll help him come up with a slogan.
Okay,
Cory.
so the synopsis is this main character, I forget his name, but for his birthday, his mother bequeaths him a cabinet or cupboard, which he also gets small figurines, and when he puts them inside and locks the key, they come to life.
Yeah, it's not just the Native American.
Yeah, he also puts a British soldier in there, played by Steve Coogan,
Mm-hmm.
and a cowboy played by David Keith. And actually,
Not Keith David.
no, David Keith.
Would have been cool too.
So he keeps his little figurines in the magic mini Narnia closet.
Basically.
I feel like by the time I wanted to, or by the time I was going to rent this, Toy Story came out in theaters, and it
Right.
completely overshadowed every kid wanting to ever see this movie again.
I
It
think
just
that-
totally demolished it.
Yeah, no, you're right because it's just like, oh, the toys came to life, and they're like, wait,
Yeah, imagine being the Pixar company, having not ever released a film yet. All you did was Tin Toy or whatever, and you see Indian in the Cupboard come out in the summer before your big first release, and it's about the same kind of thing.
Well, they were
Oh boy,
like, hey,
oh
you only
boy,
got
they were
one army
nervous.
man. We got a whole battalion of army men. So
Yeah,
forget it.
yeah. I wonder what they thought. I bet they were real worried Pixar would never take off. But did this do well?
Did okay, right?
I don't know.
It's
think
not
it
a-
was-
no kids talk about it anymore.
I remember going through box office for kids, and a lot of the movies that we talked about, Waterworld obviously bombed. Clueless did well, but these two poster boys were in like fourth and fifth place when they came out. So they actually were also hidden gems, even though they were better in
Weird
the,
thing
in the
is-
standings.
directed by Frank Oz. It shows what a versatile director he is.
Yeah. Do you want to come up with a slogan before I give you the real one, Cory?
Oh, me come up with a slogan?
Yeah, either one. Yeah, I don't care. I just want another one.
you'll believe a Native American can be small. That's not.
Okay. All right.
No, that's not. No, hang on. The other movie about toys coming to life.
Even though it's 6 months earlier.
I don't know. I mean, it's,
Shooting an arrow through your heart.
his adventure comes to life. Okay, I was close
Yeah.
with the first guess. I didn't use the big and small pun.
Yeah. This would not be called This Today.
No, it would not.
And they keep calling him an engine throughout the movie too. So
The engine in the
Ooh.
cupboard.
that
So
one,
this did
The
not
little-
age
the
well.
little-
We need a reboot of this.
It was
No,
a
it's fine.
product
It's a
of
good
its time.
just yeah.
Well, no, I think the spiritual successor to this would be the Night at the Museum movies
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of like a similar
The things come to
just
life
with like right
with a
things-
variety of types of people.
historical figures come to life in a and then there's like a battle between cowboys and Indians at one point. So I'm pretty sure that was
It's a
the
spiritual successor,
modern-
yeah.
the modern
Mhm.
remake of this.
Do you like not National Treasure, Night of the Museum?
I never saw them.
Really?
No, I just knew about them.
I thought we saw them together, the first one.
Nope.
I
No,
walked
I
out.
mean Cory and I.
I walked out of the first one. I
Yeah.
hate it so much.
Promising. That means I might like it.
Excuse you, Jeff.
I'm just saying, you and I have moderately
Respect and
balanced
faith.
opinions on films.
Fair.
Anyway,
So we mentioned earlier in the episode that Rosario Dawson was plucked out of obscurity off of her 13th Street stoop. We thought she's the most famous person. Obviously, Chloe Sevigny has been nominated for an Oscar, so she's probably on the same level, but she's more of an art house darling, so I figured it would be easier for us to pick our favorite Rosario Dawson projects.
I got
I don't
mine.
know.
I'm going Death Proof. It's a fun drive-in B movie from Quentin Tarantino.
Rent was my first exposure to her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She played Mimi.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm gonna go with Clerks 2.
Makes sense. Who do you guys think Jimmy would pick, or what do you guys think Jimmy would pick? Because I know he likes Ahsoka, but it's not like
Ahsoka.
his favorite thing.
He'd go with either Ahsoka or
Sin City.
Yeah, he might like Sin City. I don't remember.
oh, forgot she was in Zombieland.
She's in the second Zombieland, yes.
Zombieland, yeah.
So I'm going to pick something that she's never praised for, but the film is usually praised. And this is the first thing I ever saw her in, 25th Hour.
I thought you was.
You thought I was going to say that? I am a big fan of her career. Like everything she's been in, I've liked. I am an apologist for her in Men in Black 2. I like stuff like Top 5 in 10 Years. I've been dying to see Trance. I own it. I just keep putting it off. But I love her in everything that I've seen her in. And it started with 25th Hour, which everyone cites as one of the best movies about dealing with the aftermath of 9/11. And it showcases three bravado masculine performances from Philip Seymour Hoffman, Barry Pepper, and Edward Norton as friends, as Edward Norton's about to go off to jail, but they never quite cite Rosario Dawson for killing it alongside them as Norton's girlfriend. And I think she's the crux of the film, in my opinion. Really, really good movie. Maybe my favorite Spike Lee still. I gotta think about that. We're gonna talk about that in a couple months, actually.
I forgot
yeah.
that she was also in Josie and the Pussycats.
She is fantastic in Josie and the Pussycats. You always talk about like how bonkers that movie is. She's actually like she read the script or whatever people say.
You understood
Understood the assignment. Yeah. I'm not Gen Z. So
I'm not one of these kids.
yeah, I don't know what they say. Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
Thank
yeah, thank God. Yeah, I think those are some good choices though. Anyway, next month we're going to talk about one of my favorite actors growing up and a film I've always wanted to see that he did right after his very popular TV show ended. It's called Lord of Illusion, starring Scott Bakula, and I have no idea what it's about. I know it's something with dark magic. I don't know.
Clive
The
Barker.
prequel to the
That sounds good.
source material for How You See Me.
Yeah, it is not a just magic trick movie. It's dark magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Necromancy.
Necromancy with Scott Bakula. That sounds great. Not his cup of tea, and that's why he ended up back in sci-fi with Star Trek.
That actually sounds way better because when you first said it, I thought my brain went to Scott Baio.
Oh yeah. No, we would not
That's one of your
promote.
favorites growing up, Scott Baio.
I did like Charles in Charge, but not because of him.
Tony loves
That's
Chachi. I know this about this.
Yeah. Who's the other guy that was with him? The blonde dude that was his best friend. That was my favorite character on Charles in Charge. Did you not watch Charles in Charge? Am I a Chuckhead?
Not enough to remember.
I was gonna say not that religiously.
Yeah. I've seen I think every episode.
I don't know. He really shone as Bob Loblaw on Arrested
Right.
Development. But anyway,
You got me to chuckle, so maybe I'll watch the show finally.
good.
Yeah. Breaking me down over the years.
Yep.
I'll watch it for his 30th anniversary.
Finally gonna have. Oh God.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you next month. Remember, kids, don't do this at home.
Don't do drugs or each other or any of the things in this film. It's been a public service announcement from the Interjections Podcast.
It could have been a lot worse, and it could have been better.
It's too much jokes being interjected.
I'd watch it again.